Hey, Mr. Clash here with the last NDL match of the season, regular season before playoffs for Spider Legion in the amateur division of No Dip League. Spider Legion, as you can see, beat Gros Sac Noir 58-54. Before I get into the attacks, we're going to have a look at 3 Town Hall 10s, 1 Town Hall 11 and a Town Hall 9 attack. So before I get into that, I just want to do the 6-pack shout-outs. For Town Hall 10s, we have Anti-Lock, 6-pack Town Hall 10 attack. And then for the Town Hall 9s, we have Your Mum, Garav, Kwee, Sam, and The Thing. And the interesting thing to note, there are 2 interesting things to note, really, about the Town Hall 9 attacks. All of the Town Hall 9s of Gros Sac Noir were fresh tripled by the Spider Legion attacks. So that meant all of the other Town Hall 9 attacks from Spider Legion were cleanup attack or scouting attacks, I should say. They weren't cleanup, they were scouting attacks on the Town Hall 10s and 11s. Also, all of the Town Hall 9 attacks were witch attacks, which is kind of fitting because in NDL Season 1, Gros Sac Noir was well known for doing only witch attacks at Town Hall 9, whereas everyone else was still doing hog attacks and Laloon and things like that. Gros Sac Noir was just getting the witches down, getting the job done with witches for Season 1. And now it seems everyone has gravitated towards witches, and most of the attacks were done using a troop combination. My favourite one, triple jump with the one rage and witches, golems, wizards, and I did a video of that, and interestingly I'm pretty sure the video included 6 or 7 or 8 attacks from Gros Sac Noir. So a little bit of medicine going back at them. Okay, so let's get into the Town Hall 11 triple. This was a fresh triple as well. All right, as you can see by the troops at the bottom, it's going to be a little bit of a hog attack. Got the siege machine coming in. Going to path all the way, nice little straight line. Just having a judge of where the siege machine's going to go through there. Open up that hole nicely to get access to the Eagle Artillery. Once the Eagle Artillery goes down, the base will be prone to hogs. I guess the bowlers will take out, say, some of this stuff around here, or that little quadrant will be taken out, I'm assuming. That just leaves a nice little U shape for the hogs to path around as per usual. You get that same sort of U shape happening with the balloon attacks if you do balloon attacks. 1 minute and 20 left to go. This base was wiped out pretty darn quickly. Once this cannon goes down, I think the hogs will start to come in. Might even come in. There we go, in now. 3-finger drop, 5 heal spells for the hogs. 1 heal spell over there, 1 over there. So 2 heal spells down, 3 left to go. You know, you have to assume you could almost paint the base with heal spells, really. You know, 1 there, 1 here, 1 here. That's the sort of thing. Notice how the cleanup wizards have gone down already. Last thing you want to do is be watching the hogs entirely and then go, oh, I need my cleanup wizards. And that's how you used to run out of time in the old days. But everyone's getting onto it now. At all Town Hall 11s, get those cleanup wizards down nice and early. Make sure you always have the cleanup wizards, especially in the hog attacks, because you can't always rely on the hogs to do the job. You'd like to think you can, but sometimes things go a little bit awry. You might have a little spring trap. Something happens right near the end just to really wreck your day. It's going to wreck your day if all of your hogs hit spring traps. If you lose 3 hogs per spring trap, you're going to be losing possibly 18 hogs. If you assume you're going to lose half of your hogs, then you can see if you bring in, say, 24 hogs and you lose 12, it makes it really hard to try and 3-star the rest of the base, accounting for just natural die-off that can happen. So, all right, let's go have a look at the Town Hall 10. This particular attack, I'll do a separate video on this one, just this attack alone, because I think it's worthwhile. So let's just have a look at it. We have the 39 miners, and we have what's in the clan castle. Now, we did do a lot of FCs, and I'll cover this in the video I do just of it. But have a look at the time, 1 minute and 35 from now, and the siege machine's only just gone down. So in 1 minute and 35, these level 3 miners are going to get are going to wipe out the rest of this base. Now, the sort of ironic thing is, just before I sat down to do this video, I logged on to my Town Hall 10. I harvested stuff. I didn't have the shield. I hadn't had a shield for a long time. I harvested the drills and things like that. I logged off. I did an attack with a Town Hall 9. I came back onto the Town Hall 10 to donate, and I just sat there watching, waiting for someone to decide whether or not they were going to do an attack or not. And unfortunately, that free spell just missed the Inferno there at that point. Yeah, I sat there watching, wondering if this person was going to attack. So I sat there for the whole 30 seconds just waiting. Are they going to actually attack, or what are they actually doing? And of course it was a Town Hall. I won't say it's a Town Hall 11. I would have to say it was a Town Hall 12. The miners, if they're at Town Hall 12, were level 6 miners. So level 6 miners taking on a Town Hall 10. If level 3 miners, you can see here, can wipe out a Town Hall 10, then level 6 miners is going to be absolutely devastating. It didn't seem to matter. And of course, you throw in the Grand Warden attack into that as well. So the Grand Warden's immortal, creating the troops to be immortal, so no amount of damage will kill them for that time frame. Yeah. So end of the base at my attack on my defense, and of course end of this base by Airborne's lovely little miner attack. Notice in the clan castle he's got miners as well. On to the next Town Hall 10. Okay, now with this particular one, I wanted to, it only goes for 2 minutes, but the big thing that I wanted to point out on this one is that the Town Hall is in the middle. So in this day and age, let's just say with the siege machine, if you put the Town Hall 10 in the Town Hall in the middle, this might be a fantastic base for a village base, but if you put this in the middle at war, it means that the attacker can attack using a siege machine from any place that they decide is best for them to attack from. So if the Town Hall's over here in a corner, they obviously can't attack from here to go in because the siege machine will go running over that way. So by having the Town Hall 10 in the corner, you're kind of forcing the attacker to come in from this kind of angle or over here. They can't just attack from whole two sides of the base by putting a Town Hall 10 in the corner. But when it's in the middle, they can virtually just attack anywhere that they deem is best to go in. So this is not really a good idea for war. Look, I know it's going to make it a little bit difficult for a Town Hall 9 to 3-star, but I think, especially in the league, we're kind of beyond Town Hall 9s getting the 2-star on a Town Hall 10, sorry. And, you know, that being sort of it. Town Hall 10 is satisfying for a 2-star, and then Town Hall 10's dipping to take out 9s. With Witches just dominating everything at Town Hall 9, we're not really seeing Town Hall 9 fails anymore like we were, say, Season 1 and even Season 2 in the No-Dip League. There were Town Hall 9s that weren't being cleared. And, you know, in that early stage, everyone moving away from the leagues and the competition where dipping was the name of the game, and Town Hall 9s were getting wiped out, if for no other reason that Town Hall 10s were dipping, because Town Hall 9s couldn't clear themselves all the time. But Season 3, everyone's just adopted the Witches pretty well, right across the board. And it's just made Town Hall 9 pretty, well, I would say it's made Town Hall 9 an impotent Town Hall 9. And that is, like I said, we, in Spider Legion, attacked and 3-starred all of their Town Hall 9s fresh triple. So all of the Town Hall 9s didn't need to be cleaned. And yet in previous seasons of the NDL, Town Hall 10s could not dip down and clear Town Hall 9s. And we had wars where there were, say, 4 Town Hall 9s that didn't get cleared and things like that. That's because not everyone was using Witches, and hog attacks and air attacks do have a tendency to fail, but Witches compensate for a lot of errors, let's just say, in attacking. But this is a Town Hall 10, so what that means, of course, is that you don't have to try and safeguard that Town Hall 10 as the Town Hall as much, because you're not going to have a Town Hall 9 jump up, grab the 2, and then the Town Hall 10s drop down and clear the 9s, because the Town Hall 9s are just clearing themselves anyway. So let's move on to the next Town Hall 10. Again, in this attack, we have an attack that is very, very rapid. Minute 42 on the clock, but we'll see what time it is when the first troop actually goes down. And of course you notice that it is Bowitch with a free spell, bringing in giants. So what we've been doing, having a bit of a play, is bringing the giants in instead of golems, and that seems to have been very, very effective. It's increased the Town Hall 10 triple rate from Bowitch, for us at least anyway. There just seems to be wider tanking. I'm not sure if for whatever logic reason it just seems to work out that way, that bringing the giants in with that one free spell to get onto the Inferno, even though the freeze is not really any length of time, you know, it's only a short freeze. It's not like a 5 or 8 second long freeze. It's only a short one. But what that freeze is doing is essentially it gives you that slight reprieve from the Inferno at that moment, but it also makes the Inferno reset. So the long lead up time until max damage of the Inferno, by making it reset, that thing that was about to get wiped out because the Inferno had reached max damage potential now is cool. And it gives also the chance that maybe some skeletons can get towards an Inferno, so that by the time the freeze comes off, now the Inferno's busy trying to deal with some skeleton spells that have skeletons that have come in from the witches. So as you can see here, all the defences about down. Just this mortar left to go. Queen's shooting walls. Of course, it wouldn't be an attack without the Queen shooting any walls. And there we go, big bomb going off that the Queen's just triggered. And then we're going to have the King possibly rage, the King's ability, Rage Iron Fist. There we go. Just to help wipe out that little bit quicker. Nice little Bowitch 3-star from Ditto. Now let's go have a look at the fastest Town Hall 9. Fastest Town Hall 9, here it is. Minute 33, minute 29, I can't remember when the troops get done. The interesting thing was that Gros Sac Noir was bringing a lot of internet bases into the attack. I don't know if they thought the old meta might stump the witches, or if at that point they figured it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what bases we design. We don't really want to spend a lot of time designing bases at Town Hall 9 anymore. We don't really care. Because you spend all this time trying to design a base to defend, and the witches just overrun it, and it's a 3-star anyway. So I'm not really sure on the logic of bringing in well-known internet bases into the mix, whether it's just a little bit of laziness or not, just, you know, having fun in the league. Let's just say it's like, hey, not everyone has to design bases all the time. We don't want to design bases. We're just in the league having a bit of fun in matches that are not mismatched. So yeah, can't really say. Haven't really spoken to them about their decision to bring internet bases in instead of something that wasn't internet based. Keep an eye on these two witches at the bottom here dealing with this archer tower. So watch out. Boom. Okay, now the archer tower did have a little bit of damage on it. But you can see here the two witches at the bottom here on the left hand side just slowly pathing around, spawning skeletons, the Queen up the top there at the 12 o'clock position, just taking out the last of the weapons. Look at the health of the golems still. 2 full golems at the end of the attack. Bowlers that have made it all the way through the base, even going over these double bombs here. The bowlers have made it all the way through. So nice little 3-star from Gurav, who was one of the Town Hall 9 6-pack getters. So let's have a look at the, oh, by the way, we tripled, I think, yeah, we tripled all of the Town Hall 10s, if I'm not mistaken, and it was only a couple of the 11s that escaped. Okay, so let's have a look at the war events, or the statistics, I should say. 37 attacks used, the other side used all of them. The attacks used, we had a couple of Town Hall 9s down there that weren't used, and there was no point using the last Town Hall 10 attack because all of the Town Hall 10s were tripled, of course. Attacks lost, usually that was all the Town Hall 9 scouts. Like I said, that all the Town Hall 9s were tripled fresh hit. And 18 3-stars versus 14 2-stars, new stars per attack. Average destruction, obviously that's averaged over all of the bases, not average destruction per attack. Obviously the average for most of them is like 100, but technically it's 98.9. Anyway, Average attack duration, not that this matters, 1 minute 56. And of course, the most heroic attack going to the Town Hall 11 triple up top. So that is it. Spider Legion's NDL main season has come to an end. Whether or not Spider makes the playoffs or not, I think we possibly could be waiting for 1 or 2 other matches to finish to see how the scaling goes. Whether someone gets in the playoffs directly or through wildcards or whatever, I think that's still being determined as matches come to fruition. So that is it. Spider Legion defeats Gros Sac Noir 58-54 in the amateur division of the No Dip League. So what that means, we will, of course, members from Guns and Honey were going into Spider Legion and for the amateur, and also going into Acid Rain for the welter division attacks there in Acid Rain. And now Guns and Honey will be taking part in the Gauntlet League as well. And possibly, I think we've got some members going into the Sionis for the CWL Premier division, if I'm not mistaken, and possibly even there might be 2 divisions that we've got members going into the CWL. So that is it for this war recap. Thanks for sticking around to the end. Do please let me know if you have had any success with miners. Like I said, I'll be doing a separate video on that miner attack all by itself, so do tune into that one. I'll be analysing the attack and giving a few tips on what made that attack possible for you to possibly do in your own clan wars. So that's it for this video. Thanks for sticking around, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.